let's just a bit of educational material, right? Insurance write-off, doesn't matter, it's a Cat S or Cat N. It's important to find out what have happened with the vehicle, right? Everyone will tell you always there's no pictures, because not always you can obtain the pictures. It's the discretion of the insurance company or salvage company to share those pictures across it, you know. And those are not always available, so the sellers who are not transparent or hiding or simply just ignoring the fact, they will not disclose that information. So they always say, like on this one, it's just had this damage around here, and I think it's one of the side suspension, something being changed, right? However, obviously I'm just doing inspection, right? So just will let you know, right? This is a paint thickness gauge, right? Once you're going through, you know, you can see 250, 250, 300, 280. This quarter panel has been replaced, as you can see. The seam sealer, you know, different. Obviously they are, again, bend thicknesses 190, 220, 253, 339, 270. There was 400 somewhere. 139. So obviously we have fillers used. You always have sort of marks. These areas are normally about 80, 100, you know. And then obviously once you go through the vehicle, 220, 220, 230, 300. This section has excessive fillers used around. This one reads 1.5 millimeters, so it doesn't read here. It's 800 versus there was 1000. So it had excessive damage around here and fillers used. So basically, once I go through everything, you know, it just says it had just that side, right? The reality is 270, 259, 239, 300, right? So basically, whole this vehicle has been re-sprayed apart from the bonnet, boot lid, wings had some 180, a respray or the blending done on that side. This wing is okay, but however, once you, so this is just basically whole vehicle has been resprayed, right? It's hard to see, but there are various blisters, or that is underside corrosion, but to me it looks like it's a lifted up paint, you know, if you can say it. So there's several areas around here, and those blisters on the doors and on that side, they are present, you know. This is what you're gonna get, you know. Visually it looks okay, you know. If you want to drive this vehicle like that, obviously it's up to you, you know. We don't recommend them, you know, because there's no value. I will go obviously through this one, see if there is if there's anything else I can find, you know, which is worrying, you know. Obviously don't expect those repairs will never be done to manufacturer standards, nor to insurance standards, because I always say, look, the bodywork is as expensive as the engine rebuild or gearbox rebuild, you know. So don't just assume it's just the metal panels, you know. And obviously you can see the finish around here is a seam sealer, you know. As expensive, like I said, and this is the reason why they're writing off, to redo things to the good standard. It will cost a lot of money, you know. So whoever buys it, they are normally 50% cheaper. They botch them up, or you have obviously various trims loose, you know, that needs tracking, and various other imperfections. But this one quite sensibly visually looks good. So if you're not probably too close and start checking, the gaps are sensibly done, you know, it's not too many issues like awkward stuff where you look and the bumpers are loose and headlights are loose and things are broken. The gaps look sensibly alright, so you can't really see visually it's a bad car. But once you start looking, you know, you can find these things, you know. So that's why they are cheaper. There's a reason why they're much cheaper, and like I said, we normally don't recommend them because they come with loads of surprises. They're classified as substandard cars. There can be something also removed, reprogrammed, you know, there's various things can be missing, you know. So there's no really value buying one, you know, because you might have a hassle from the insurance company, you know, insuring you, or might ask in engineer's reports, you know. And if you do step on a complete terrible one, the engineer's report will not pass and you're not going to get insured, you know. You'll get stuck to it. So just to be aware of. Basically, so far what I did, I can see, I mean, they are still obviously original spot welds from the factory, so they haven't changed anything here. So they have basically straightened something out here on this valance part section, and also the quarter panel has been replaced so far. So let me dig deeper if there's anything more serious. So I'm just digging deeper. So remove obviously those plastic trims. Obviously here again everything is factory spot welds, and over here everything is as I wanted to see from sort of factory. There's no sort of damage. So they, as I seen it and said it before, it was just a quarter panel replacement on this side. So far I haven't went underside, haven't been those are in place, and they have the same dates on it. So it looks like the seatbelts haven't blasted, the airbag system didn't activate it to me so far. Yeah, let me go deeper. So checking this side again, the numbers are the same on the seatbelt latches, not the latches but the mechanism itself, and factory spot welds, and nothing is being messed about, you know. Obviously they hit somewhere, you can see obviously again Cat S, you always have resprays and all the finish will never be done to the good standard, you know. So when more likely hit something, car twisted and hit something on the other side, you know. That's life, I guess, you know. Let's put it back together, everything is okay. Check the front as well, read it, paint thicknesses on a chassis element, you know. They normally will be like 60 to 80, 50 to sort of 90, or some cars 100. So everything, all the seam sealers are even on the factories, like on some Fiats and some other French or cars which are sort of assembled in Turkey or Slovenia or somewhere else. They got shitty seam sealer all over the place. This one is not that bad, you know. Visually, from with the bodywork and everything, structural, I'm satisfied, structurally sound. So I will still obviously go underside, and any nasty things, surprises, I will see it from underside. So obviously also includes diagnostic scans. You know, there are some faults in a occupant restaurant system, so we'll check it. So the mileages are correct. Oh, not most modern cars. You can scan and get the VIN numbers and see if the mileages and subsystems are correct. So it's just getting harder to wind the mileages down, you know, because if you plug it up sensible diagnostic scan and diagnostic equipment, it will come up, you know. So as some other cars like this one, they need access to the internet to read the system, so like you need a subscription on the scanner. So again, if you're using something, not on all of them, it's like Fiat, all the Chrysler group, you know, has that issue, McLaren has that issue, some Mercedes, Volvo has that, so some of them are a bit complicated. So otherwise it might read some faults, but not be able to access some information, you know. It's pretty limited. McLaren would not read at all. Jeeps would not read at all, and Alfa Romeo, because there's a different adapter to kind of, that's quite secure, so you can't read anything much from the EOBD. You have to unplug one module and plug the diagnostic connector in. So obviously this is what we do in a diagnostic scan, you know, checking when the last time fault's been cleared, what's the distance traveled since fault's cleared, you know. So a good indication when somebody's trying to dodgy something around, you know, that's not always a good sign. When the faults are cleared and there's 0 traveled or 6 kilometers or wherever, you know, something's hiding. So straight questions, why, any proof, any invoice why the fault's been cleared, you know, any repairs. So especially worrying on a hybrids or electric cars. So let me continue doing my job, just giving you an idea how things looking from the backgrounds. I don't do those videos of all the process because it is very stressful. You're limited in the time, because it's not like you're dealing with your car and you can spend the whole day. So I don't do videos. Any videos you see, those are real reports to the customer, which are added on a premium inspection for the customer to view, and then they see the rest of the report, and then they can call back once the inspection is completed. So it is highly stressful environment. So anything you see, it's done on a job. There's nothing made up like people do I don't do videos for to make you laugh or make you entertained. They might be sometimes boring, dull wind noises. I'm sorry about that. I don't really, if it happens like that, at least you understand. It's not like I don't care. It's just you can't create a production, something where if you make a mistake, you know, you're screwed. There's thousands of things to look at, you know. Attention to detail is paramount, you know. So talking while you're in a job, you know what's going to happen if you talk on a job and don't pay attention to what you need to do, especially where you need to concentrate 100%, 200%. Where the car could be cloned, you know, there could be VIN number issues, you know. It's not just the tick box exercise as people imagine, you know, on a pre-purchase inspection. So it's a tough life, you know. Everyone hates you, seller hates you. Sometimes customers hate you because they don't understand the expectations and things like that, you know, on a certain issues, you know. As you can't, it's like on a Cat S, it's just a substandard car. You can't pay attention to all the little stupid stuff which are not relevant, you know. It's just you have to have a reasonable understanding. So it is hard game, you know. You can't please always everyone, you know. Because like say if it's a substandard car or old car, there will be so many things, it's impossible to mention everything, you know. So just to get your expectations back for the age and mileages, you know. So whoever you're watching the video, you know, there are certain things, like this is substandard car, there will be some substandard issues which is consistent with the substandard vehicle, you know. It's not going to make a difference as long as it's not dangerous, you know. But coming back to diagnostics, so I do 2 diagnostic scans. So I read the faults, then I obviously save the faults and initial scan. So I do analyze and see which are more paramount and dangerous faults, or sometimes confusing. I do a research, digging what it potentially sort of could be, just to pinpoint. Sometimes something innocent looks super expensive, so take the pictures of those faults, you know. Then I delete them, you know, and obviously you can see it, you know, then as a customer, or the seller to send a shareable link to the seller after the inspection to negotiate what needs to be fixed, you know, some low time pressures. There's something referred to service telematics module. Not worry about that too much. You know, there's some key stored oil pressure out of range, comp shutdown, retard disabled, stored. That's a bit worrying. So yeah, we'll clear them after the rotors, do another scan, you know, see what's happening, and take it from there. It has service done. It's got part of the service history on this one. Service is due June this year. So oil was reasonably clean. It's not knocking on anything like that. So something we'll research later. I hope that gives you kind of a bit of idea what's going on. Yeah, coming back to these faults. So when I do have something confusing, what I always do before I clear them, I go in a live data, you know. So as you can see, obviously DPF operations pressures, you know. This is obviously petrol. It doesn't have a petrol DPF, but when I go to when I check live data, I check the obviously live data what I just did press just now. But what I wanted to show you is sometimes you got these weird faults. So on this one, nothing has been cleared recently. You know, there's nothing abnormal. So I do look on obviously on the live data. I mean on a stored data from the freeze frame. You know, and it can give me some indication what have happened and when it happened. One event counter happened 11 times. Test failed, operation cycle test failed. Confirmed, pending, false, confirmed, true. So nothing kind of what I want to see. It gives me. This gas well happened 16 times. So yeah, so this is what I do just to get an idea on some tricky faults, you know, especially when it comes to the gearboxes and engine management systems. And then obviously I clear them, and yeah, then the car normally idles for 30 to sometimes 50 minutes, and then it's a road test, and then after the road test another scan. So it's a quite tough inspection the car have to go through, you know. So it idles, it gets hot, so if there are head gasket issues or cooling system or pressurizing, you know, normally 9 of the 10 times something gonna flag up, you know, where there is something so this wrong, and it will come out, you know, fault come up on the hard road test, or cooling system issues, you know, or anything, something dodgy, you know. It always sort of happens. Drivability issues, you know, everything gets hot properly, you know, or it always sort of comes up, you know. Rarely you sort of miss things, you know. To, you know, there's plenty of time, you know, to stress the car, you know, or stress the seller's mind, you know, see what they're saying. Does it match what they're saying? Is the reality, you know? As you noticed, I cleared the faults. They still haven't cleared, right? Obviously, in most cars, you have to, because the engine was running, you have to switch engine off, and then you need to clear the faults with engine off and ignition on, you know, otherwise it doesn't clear the fault. So yeah, so now I'm ready to do what I need to do, and then we'll do after the road is do another scan and see what's going on. Hi, my name is Clash Inspector Day. Let's just jump through on this above 8-year-old Fiat, right? Also, you've got a fair wear and tear across the interior. Noticeable, obviously. Very fine aging. regards to bodywork, let's go up. It is obviously insurance write-off, and however, visually all the gaps are fine for the insurance write-off. Obviously, you will have some slightly loose plastics imperfections. In regards to body defects, chipped edges, they are, because it's white and it reflects and it's dusty, it's hard to see, especially in sunlight, but you will have these blisters. It's, to me, I don't think it's a corrosion. I think it's a lift up paint, you know. So you've got several areas around here. It is hard to see, you know. You can see the repairs on it. So basically, it's structurally sound car right now, has it been repaired, and it wasn't such a very significant structural damage. So the repairs was those panels on each side here, on this side, and this quarter panel. However, whole vehicle is resprayed apart from this wing, this and that. Roof operates fine, all the seals are fine. Here has been a significant amount of fillers used in this section. Also, as this side has been resprayed, everything is around 300 microns. Again, imperfections. It's been blended on this wing. There's a bumper damage, over polished marks, everything so far. There's a damage of the grille, not the bumper, and everything around engine bay is fine, tidy. Some marks on this alloy, they are fine. The alloy wheels, you will see obviously insurance write-off imperfections. There will be few, but however, looking on this particular example, it's quite sensible. You know, you will, like I said, you have some rust marks. You can see the seam sealer is not as on this side, so repairs, marks, but at least it's been repaired, right? How can I say, it's not manufacturer standard, it's not a industry standard professional bodywork repair, but it is I mean, it's done, it's satisfactory, right? But obviously repair quality is not good enough, but it's done. Sensible respray, but fits insurance write-off standard, you know, I would say. So I'm gonna go for the road test now. There was some worrying faults regards to oil pressure. We'll check it. Service is due on this one in June this year. It's part of the service history. Have to be done every year. I think there's only 3 services in a stamped book, some invoices. Regards to your mentioned valve, it's seized, it doesn't do anything, it's open to me. Radio speaker, rear, you mentioned, it does work. All the suspension is fine. There's some fair wearance here on the open and top arms, on the top wishbone, and some ferrules got surface corrosions, but everything on the side is quite I would say for 8-year-olds it's very good, you know. So yeah, gonna go for the road test. Anything else, if I have any concerns, I will report this in a report, you know. As you will see in the pictures, this side doesn't have overspray marks. That side has, and obviously you'll have oversprays around the bumpers, you know, and then you got oversprays around here, you know. It's always classic. There's a ding in it, and you will have some surface corrosion as those the doors being removed for the repairs, you know. And as well, you will see these blisters, you know, on this section as well, in several areas, and a driver's side door. I completed this inspection. The vehicle drives and performs in good manner. However, there is a very fine audible sort of knock can be noticed intermittently when you go through the potholes from the rear left. There also could be some plastic, right, or could be something to do with the shock. It's fine, but it is noticeable. Regards to faults, there are various sort of weird things. There's nothing abnormal. The oil pressure, again, I think there's nothing abnormal. However, it can be to do with software updates, which are overlooked problems, as there are some bulletins regards to certain issues. So there's a high pressure system issue. Again, communication issues needs further investigation. More likely one of the sensors are packed up or something that something again, you know, I'm just guessing at the moment, and there's nothing sort of serious, but it could turn out something serious, you know. Let's just put it, if you want to sort these small issues out, there's also the code for the classic thing as on a Mazdas, right, as this is sort of Mazda really. Change the batteries, clear the fault, and see if it comes back. If not, one of the transmitters are faulty, you know. There might be a software updates required, again, as there's no main dealer service history. There's certain things can be overlooked too. So yeah, however, there are certain issues with that diagnostic, but there's nothing abnormal, you know. But like I said, if you would decide to resolve it, it will cost you money. Let's say it's various systems, various issues. It could be up to £500, you know. Just an idea, you know. But it happens, guys. If you have any questions, just feel free, just give me a call.